Hi here! Well, I've been wanting to make a new nightstand to go next to the bed, and I drew up a little picture of it and I showed husband and he goes, why don't we make two and he'll help? And so he took my drawing and he drew up a better drawing. And his drawing was very detailed and I didn't understand everything about the drawing, but I figured that I would along the way as we were building them. And we decided to use maple because he had made some dressers that are in the bedroom now, and we wanted it to match that. Right away, he glued up some maple boards for the tops, and then we cut up some sheets of maple plywood. We put some pocket holes in where they need to go, and by this time the tops were all ready to come out of the clamps, and we ran them through the drum sander. We set those aside, and I sanded the edges of the pieces of plywood while husband added the necessary dados. Then it was time to assemble the bones. Our pieces are opposite of each other, so we did this at the same time but made sure we were mirroring each other. We glued and brad nailed things together. Then we put the tops upside down on this table, and we put the bones on the underside of the tops. You get that? Yeah, I think it is. It is. Cool. And we put a large clamp on them to hold them together while we squared them up. We used 2 speed squares to square it, and I drove some screws through the pocket holes on one side. Then we did the same while we squared up the other side. Then we cut the backboard from a 1/4-inch maple plywood and sanded the edges. Then we tipped it back and made sure things were square again and attached the backboard with glue and nails. Then we did the same thing for the second nightstand.
Square?
Yes. Then tipped that down and measured to cut the backer for it. Then placed the backer and glued and nailed it.
You're so good again!
We tipped it up and then set both on the table side by side.
So, yep.
Then we tipped them back again and measured for the base frames. You want me to measure my side?
Yes.
Then ripped some thin boards on the table saw, planed them and sanded them, then attached them to our pieces. Husband glued and brad nailed his while I didn't want to put nails in mine, so I glued and clamped mine. But then I ended up nailing one of my boards because it wasn't straight. So I nailed it to bend it that little bit that it needed to bend. All right, so Hub, he just made these and they're gonna sit like that. And that's gonna be the drawer slides, right? They're gonna run here and there, the drawers. Cool. Then place some screws to hold these sides in place. First on husband's and then on mine.
Just a hair.
Next was cutting up the drawer parts. I sanded the pieces while husband rounded some dados and rabbited in his. footage got deleted of us making our drawers. So husband made his a certain way and I made mine a certain way.
So what I did is I dadoed my front and back faces, and then I also did an insert dado for the bottom.
And what I did was the J. Bates way. I made a bottom and I made it in cedar because we ran out of half-inch plywood. So I had some cedar boards, I glued those together and made the bottom, and then I put 2 of them on top and I put 2 of them on the side, which I guess is a little bit different than how Jay does it. But anyway, that's only because I made it too wide, so I couldn't put these on the outside. But
I didn't have that problem.
Of course.
So anyways, we're gonna try them in. Now we just need to we're gonna make a drawer here that's gonna be a hidden drawer. And it's actually gonna have a release latch on it, so you push it and release it.
Like that.
And so it's gonna look like a face frame when we're done.
And he ordered the part that does the release on it, and so it's coming when?
Couple weeks.
So we're just gonna make the drawer and have to put that in later. And then we're going to do some sanding and do some finishing stuff.
We'll get the drawer in, we'll get this fake drawer in, it just won't have the release mechanism on it.
Yeah.
So it'll look like a face frame, but yeah, going good so far. And notice we're mirror images of each other, one for her side and one for my side of the bed. So that means we can't switch sides of the bed, which that would never happen anyway.
Never. So then we got all the parts prepared for the secret drawers, and we made them both the same way this time, with the sides rabbited to fit together and the bottom also rabbited in, and gluing and then brad nailing them. Nars, husband!
Okay, now we have one more thing to do.
What?
Need to router the slots on the side.
Cool beans, 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 beans. Cool beans, beans.
The router table's set up for it.
So he routed those in lickety-split. And husband planed down the drawer slides until they fit the dado guides. And we tried them in to see if they fit.
Okay.
Then we flipped my nightstand over so I could glue my drawer slides in the way I wanted to do it, which was putting the glue on the slides and inserting the drawer and letting it rest against the top of the nightstand until the glue set, thereby setting the drawer position. While husband used spacers to set his drawer position and then placed the drawer on top of the spacers with glue on his glides to set the drawer position.
There.
Husband wanted to put 4 small square feet on the bottom, so we sanded those and drilled a hole in each of them. And since my nightstand was already upside down, I glued each of the feet in place and waited for them to dry before adding the screws so they wouldn't twirl around on me, which the first one did, of course. And that's why I decided to glue them and wait. Husband wanted to curve the tops of all the drawer boards, so he did that on the router table. I tried it on one drawer and decided I didn't like it, so didn't do it to the others. I don't like it. I'm gonna do it for the next one. Then husband started putting his drawer fronts on. And he got those all finished, and they looked pretty good. Then he flipped his back over and put his feet on while I worked on my drawer fronts. I glued my fronts on while my nightstand was laying back, but Hub warned me that gravity may not work in my favor. Well, because of the way I did this, Husband said that he doesn't like to do it that way because of gravity. So laying it on its back, gluing it up, and look, yep, gravity. See that? But I figured out I can add this right in there like that. And it'll bring it up to the right space. So I'm gonna glue that in there. So I glued that extra piece right in there and the drawer will slide right on that. Woo, it worked. Okay, these are the top drawers. That's mine and this is husband's, and I'm going to flock the insides of them. And I got the undercoat adhesive that everybody recommended for me to get. So I'm excited about that. I taped off the tops of the drawers and then poured in and spread the adhesive, then started spreading the flocking. Then I did the next drawer the same way. A mess I've made, but that's okay. Okay, whoa, cool. I love it. I love it. Okay, says to let that set up for 10 to 15 hours. So yeah, cool. Okay, I'm really curious to see how these are gonna look. I read you can reuse the fibers that don't stick, so I poured the loose stuff onto a piece of sandpaper and put it back into the little container. It looked like they were all clean, unlike the stuff on the table that had sawdust mixed in with it and stuff, so I just tossed that part away. All right, I didn't block the tops of these because of the fit and stuff, but I think I'm going to use a Sharpie, on mine anyway, and see how it looks. I didn't ask him if he wanted his, but I'll ask him when he's up here later. Okay, ooh, I like it. Let's try it in. Hopefully it fits. There. Yeah. Well, I think this thing is shot. Doesn't. It's on. Wasn't turning on. I sanded the top with a few different grits, ending with 220. Okay, I'm gonna do that drawer trick I learned. I measured the length of this, and I marked it on my ruler, which is about 8, and a little bit less than 7/8. So it'd be what? 16, 15, 14, 13 sixteenths, 8 and 13 sixteenths. And I'm just gonna mark it on my drawer. There. I've used this drawer handle trick many times now and it works great. I learned it from Tab Left Workshop and I'll leave a link to his video in the box below. Also, my t-shirt has a typo on it. I have this for sale in my shop, but without the typo. Luckily, no one bought it with the typo. Now you take the corner to the opposite line. Draw a mark. And then you go from this corner to the opposite line. Mark. And you do the same thing on this side. This corner to the opposite line. Farthest away. Can't see it, I'm too close. There we go. That corner, opposite. And this corner, this opposite. Okay. So there's my mark and there's my mark. And let's just double check. Make sure this thing is right. And looky there, it is. Woohoo! So now I'm going to drill a hole through there, all the way through. Then I sanded the those drawer fronts. I tried the handles on just to see how they looked. Yay, I like it! And was going to start sanding on husband's next. But, okay, now I can't get it to turn on again. And last time I did that, I brought it over here and said, I can't get this to turn on, and it turned on, so I'm gonna try it again. I think it's finally dead now. It means more hand sanding. So we moved on to other things, and that was putting a decorative edge on the drawer fronts. We tried a few different router bits out and found one we liked, so husband routered one of the drawers and then we checked it out to see how it looked. And we liked it, so hub added it to all the rest of them. Then we went into town and we bought a new sander. We usually get DeWalt because that's just what we're used to, I guess. Husband really likes DeWalt. I like DeWalt. And they didn't have any. So we grabbed this Bosch. And I can't believe what a great job it does. But you know what? I don't think it has anything to do with the brand. I think it has to do with the age. Because husband and I have been married for 17 years or so. And he had that DeWalt before we got married. So it's something I acquired. And I mean, this is how they work now. They work so good. It's amazing. So I've been sanding off all of the little scratches that were on this. And they're coming right out. Easy. Makes me think maybe there's other tools that are old that we should replace with some better functioning tools. Wow. Then husband added the magnetic release for the secret drawers. He put the magnetic spring part on a small board, and then he put the metal piece on the back of the drawer. Then he put that small board with the spring release inside of the cubby, and he lined it up with the drawer, and he secured it in place with some screws. And then he tried it out. Woo! Nice!
Oh, that worked perfect.
Yeah! Woohoo!
Now let's put your other drawers in there.
Woohoo!
We did good, dear.
Yeah. We added verses to our nightstands. I showed Hub how to do the ink transfer technique. He put one on the back of his nightstand. He chose Hebrews 4:12 and one in his drawer, which is Philippians 4:8. And I put one in each drawer of mine with the reference in the cubby so I would know which drawer goes where. I chose John 6:67 through 69 and Isaiah 48:17. We took the lights off the old nightstands and wanted to add them to our new ones. So I held them about where we wanted them to go, and husband marked it and measured it so we could do the same on the other one.
Let's put it 6 inches in.
Okay. Then he drilled a hole in the top where the light would go, and in the back where the cord would go out and through into the wall. Then before adding the lights, we put the finish on everything, and we used shellac and applied it with a rag. We let the first coat dry for a few hours, lightly sanded it all, and then put on a second coat. And then we added the hardware.
Here it is.
And finally the light. We thought it would be simple, so I started adjusting it and couldn't get it snug. So husband then tried adjusting it. We couldn't get it, so we quit for the night. It was pretty smoky outside. The sun looks strange. Hey, Geebies. Come on, buddy. We ended up having to cut off some of the stem of the light to get them attached to the tables, but we did end up attaching them, but we forgot to film it. So we reenacted this for you.
Action. Is it on?
Yeah, that's good. Yay! Well, here they are. And now we want to do a new project, which is making a bed to go with our nightstands and the dressers.
Yay.
And guess what? He already drew it up. So maybe that'll be our next project.
Yep, hopefully so.
Yep. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.